Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon the series, the beginning episode talks, and here we are, boys. It's the finale, the end of the Orange arc. And while it has had filler, as you may have seen throughout the Pokemon episode talks, I actually enjoyed some of it as well. I very much enjoyed the Orange arc, but let's see how it ends. And we ended the last episode with the promise of the first battle, 118 episodes into the show, between Ash and Gary. So let's promote Pokemon Yellow, shall we? Because it's gonna be a 1v1 and Gary has an Eevee, which, yeah, that's yellow. That is 100% yellow. But to be honest, I will say this. I love the fact that they gave Gary an Eevee because it ties everything together in that sense. Gary did not start off with an Eevee like he did in yellow, you know, that game. But they can still give him an Eevee like this and have the yellow connection. But also Eevee evolves into Umbreon later on, which is a Johto Pokemon. So it's a connection there. I love that stuff. You'll have to see it. Anyway, Brock is going to be the referee and let the battle begin. Pikachu versus Eevee. So Pikachu starts off with a quick attack, but Eevee sets up a Reflect, and to be honest, didn't even feel the attack at all. Normally, a Reflect halves the damage, but this was no damage at all in that sense, because that is how powerful this Eevee is. Afterwards, Ash is like, use Thunderbolt, but Double Team kind of causes that bad boy to miss. So then Gary is like, use Takedown, and Pikachu dodges with Agility, but then a Skull Bash is all Pikachu needs to go down. Because yes, he gets one shot. God, I mean, I know it's Skull Bash, which, by the way, takes a turn to charge up, but, like, it's a one-shot. I know it's 100 base power, but still, it's a one-shot. It just kind of annoys me that it's a two-turn attack, but Eevee was able to insta-use it. But whatever, that's the anime for you. Sometimes they just don't follow the rules, like with a Slacking that doesn't have True on. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. We'll leave that one in Hoenn for when we get to it. God, Grovyle was awesome in that battle. Also, the Skull Bash hit before Pikachu could fire off Thunder. That was the one thing I forgot. Anyway, afterwards, Gary thanks Professor Oak and all that stuff, and then he decides to leave for his journey once again. So then, back at the lab, Oak scans the GS ball, but the scanners don't really give any info at all, so, yeah, he doesn't really get anything out of it. Also, Misty tells Ash that Gary's on a new journey, so Ash goes to Professor Oak to ask what that journey is all about, and Oak says that Gary went to the Johto region to compete in the Johto League. And we get a little bit of an explanation about the Johto League, which I find weird because Ash has already participated in a Pokemon League before. But now Ash wants to go to Johto, and obviously Brock is going to return and be added to the squad for the journey as well. God, I miss this food. And since Ash wants to go to Johto, Oak asks Ash to deliver the GS ball to a man named Kurt in Azalea Town. And Misty's like, won't that kind of take him off the journey? And Oak is like, no, dude, it's in Johto. It's on the way. Don't worry about it. Little reveal that also kind of would have helped was like, there's a gym there as well. So don't worry about it. Meanwhile, Team Rocket, having been blasted away in the last episode, are trying to crawl their way back to Pallet Town. However, they see Gary, so they set up a whole thing in order to do their motto. However, what they did not realize was the fact that there was apparently a split in the road, and Gary took the split towards the Johto region, which means that, yeah, they're on the wrong side of the road. So then, at night, we have dinner time, and then Oak gives Ash a new Pokedex. Tracy decides to become Oak's new assistant and will not be on the journey, and then Team Rocket barges in as a news crew and, you know, pretend to film and all that stuff, eat their food, and then capture Pikachu and try to run away, and Ash and Mime go after them. And I like how Delia's like, Mimey, make sure that they don't get into the garden. So Mr. Mime just throws a bunch of light screens over to the garden in order to protect it from Team Rocket, which I just thought was funny. But Team Rocket seems to have maybe gotten away because Thunderbolt doesn't work as well, but don't worry about it. Scyther is here to cut Pikachu free. Afterwards, we get a Thunderbolt, and then Tracy sends out Meryl, who uses Water Gun, and Team Rocket is gone again. And I like the fact that in the final episode of the Orange arc, the one who sends Team Rocket away was Tracy. I like that. And then afterwards, at night, Ash is a little bit upset that Tracy won't be joining him on the journey, but he's excited to go to Johto. And then the next day, we head out, boys, to New Bark Town, which is where we are going next, to the Johto region, boys. And I'm super excited for it. I know Johto has a lot of filler, but I don't care. I am really excited to get into Johto. But that is it. That's the end of Season 2. And I will say this before we say anything else, and that is the fact I like Tracy. I will miss Tracy, and I don't understand the hate for Tracy. Anyway, while I do understand that Season 2 had a lot of filler, also to anyone who goes, hey, it's Season 3. 3. No, it's not. Okay, no, it's not. We're not gonna have that debate, okay? This is season 2. But anyway, while the Johto arc had a lot of filler, I understand why it had a lot of filler, because what are you really going to do that is plot relevant? You know, like, the reason that Kanto was so good, in a sense, was because of the fact that it was smaller. Also, it was, you know, there were a lot more catches, a lot more gym battles. Here, you just have 4 gyms and basically just a champion. So, I understand the filler episodes. It's just, I personally wish that they made some better filler episodes, because filler episodes are not the problem. It is the quality of the filler that could be the problem. If you make bad filler episodes, that is not a good idea. But overall, I still enjoyed season 2, and to be honest, it ended on a higher note than season 1, because god, that Indigo League ended so terribly. But don't worry about that. That is behind us. We don't need to focus on the Indigo League anymore, even though technically Johto is in the Indigo League as well, but that's only in the games. But whatever. Anyway, we're gonna head over to Johto next time. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. With that being said, thank you so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if not already, turn on notifications. Don't forget, check out the Let's Play channel link in the description and at the end of the video. And next time we go to the winds of new beginning. Bye.